All right. So we're diving into Surrounded by Idiots today. And, you sent over a whole stack of excerpts. So I know you're not just looking for a basic overview here, right?
Yeah.
We want to get into how Erikson's system can actually help us understand people's actions and, figure out how to communicate with them better.
I think you'll be surprised. I think you'll find that there's a lot more to this than just labeling people.
Right.
It's really about understanding the motivations and the thought processes behind behavior.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. So he's got these 4 color types, right? Red, yellow, green, blue. I'm already picturing a giant game of Twister in my head, but I know it's obviously more nuanced than that. What is it about this system that's kind of got you hooked?
Well, what I find fascinating is that it goes beyond just personality traits.
Yeah.
He links these colors to core values that are instilled from childhood.
Oh, interesting.
And these values shape how we see the world and how we interact with others.
So it's not just whether someone's, the party animal or the neat freak. We're talking about deeper values that are impacting how they make decisions, handle conflict, even lead teams.
Exactly.
Okay, but part of me's got to ask, isn't this color system a little bit simplistic? I mean, people are so complex. Can we really just boil them down to 4 colors?
Yeah, I mean, that's a valid point. And, Erikson acknowledges that, too.
Oh, right.
He doesn't say that we're all talking color swatches, but rather he uses the colors as a starting point.
Okay.
A way to kind of decode those initial reactions we have to people.
Okay.
Most people are actually a blend of 2 or 3 colors.
Right.
Nobody's 100% anything.
Okay, so it's like a shorthand for understanding people's default settings. We're getting a glimpse into their operating system, not writing their entire biography.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, I'm ready to explore some colors. Let's start with red.
All right, so buckle up. For red think-driven, action-oriented, decisive reds are the ones that are leading the charge, making those quick decisions that, others might spend hours agonizing over.
That sounds like my kind of leader when there's a fire to put out.
Exactly.
But how does that play out in everyday life, not just crisis mode?
Well, that's where things get interesting because, this need for control can be both a red's greatest strength, but also their downfall.
Okay.
So imagine a red colleague giving you feedback.
Yeah.
They're not going to mince words. They're going to lay it all out there.
Right.
Which can be incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
When you need straightforward direction.
No sugarcoating with the red. Yeah. But I can also see how that could really rub some people the wrong way.
Yeah. To someone who's more sensitive or conflict averse.
Right.
That directness can feel like a personal attack.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So understanding that it's not about being right or wrong.
Right.
But it's about different approaches to communication.
It's like speaking different languages.
Yeah.
Once you understand that red language of directness and action, you can translate it in a way that makes sense for you.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, I'm starting to see how this could be helpful. Let's move on to yellow. What makes them tick?
Okay, so imagine the opposite of that, red bluntness.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yes.
That's where yellows come in.
Right.
They're all about connection enthusiasm.
Okay.
This infectious energy that just kind of draws people in.
I'm picturing the friend who lights up every room they walk into.
That's right. Right.
But how does that translate to, say, a work environment?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting because that yellow energy can be so valuable in roles that involve networking, brainstorming, or motivating teams.
Okay.
Think of someone like Oprah, like a classic yellow enner.
Okay.
Her warmth and her ability to connect with people is just undeniable.
I've never thought about it that way, but that's so true.
Right.
She really does radiate that yellow energy. Just like with red, there must be a flip side to all of this, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Of course. While yellow's enthusiasm is contagious, it can also lead to them dominating conversations.
Oh, yeah.
Or getting so caught up in the big picture that they miss crucial details.
Right.
The book has this hilarious anecdote about this guy, Gustav. There's this yellow salesperson.
Okay.
And he completely took over this pharmaceutical conference, talking everyone's ear off, but failing to actually close any deals.
So it's a reminder that even the most positive traits can kind of backfire.
Absolutely.
If they're not balanced.
It's all about awareness.
Okay, yeah, this is really interesting. I'm starting to see how this could be helpful for all kinds of relationships, professional, personal. What about green? What makes them tick?
All right, so let's shift gears to the calmer side of the spectrum now.
Okay.
Think peaceful,
Okay.
Harmonious the friend, who's always there to lend a listening ear.
Who doesn't need a green friend in their life?
Right.
But how does that play out in, say, like a leadership role? Can a green be...
That's a great question.
An effective leader?
And it challenges the common misconception.
Okay.
That leadership is all about being loud and assertive.
Okay.
Greens lead by example. They inspire trust and loyalty through their consistency and their genuine care for others.
Okay.
The book talks about this woman, Helena, who's this green salesperson, and she closed this major deal.
Wow.
Not through like hard-nosed tactics, but by connecting with the client on a personal level, talking about his vintage car collection.
Oh.
You know, it's that human touch that sets greens apart.
Yeah, that's a great reminder that leadership comes in many forms.
Exactly.
But even with all that peace and harmony, there must be some challenges that greens face too, right?
Yeah, definitely. You know, while a green's aversion to conflict can be a strength, it can also lead them to avoid crucial conversations or agree to things that they don't really want just to keep the peace.
Oh, for sure.
And they might kind of bottle up their feelings.
Yeah.
Which can lead to resentment down the line.
So again, even the most positive traits have that shadow side if they're not managed well.
It's the nuance that makes this interesting.
Okay. And that brings us to our last color.
Right.
Blue. Hit me with the blue.
Blue?
Yeah.
Think analytical, precise, detail-oriented.
Okay.
Blues are the masters of logic and precision.
Okay.
They thrive in environments where accuracy and order reign supreme.
So I'm picturing the person who color codes their calendar and has a spreadsheet for everything.
Exactly.
How does that analytical mindset translate into real-world interactions?
Imagine you're presenting a new idea to a blue colleague.
Yeah.
They're not going to be swayed by emotional appeals or flashy presentations.
Right.
You need data. You need evidence.
Right.
You need to back up your claims with solid facts.
Okay.
The book gives this example of a blue CEO who planned meetings down to the minute.
Wow.
Which some might see as overly controlling, but it ensured that everyone stayed on track and they achieved maximum efficiency.
So with blue, it's all about logic and proof.
Yes.
But I'm guessing that need for precision can also be a double-edged sword.
You know, while blues excel at analysis and planning, they can sometimes get so caught up in the details that they lose sight of the big picture or struggle to adapt when plans change.
Oh, for sure. So again, a valuable trait, but it can become an obstacle.
Exactly.
If it's not balanced with other perspectives.
And that's why understanding these colors is so much more than just putting people in neat little boxes.
Right.
It's about recognizing the interplay of strengths and weaknesses. And how those dynamics shape our interactions.
Oh, okay. I'm really starting to see the depth of this system now. We've got these 4 colors, each with their own set of values and tendencies. And I'm already picturing how these differences could lead to like some serious misunderstandings, especially if we're not aware of them.
That's exactly where we're heading next. The real power of this framework is understanding how these colors interact and learning to navigate those differences effectively.
All right, I am ready. Let's go. Okay, so we've got like a handle on the individual colors now. What really intrigues me is how these colors like interact. You mentioned that red and blue can be a power duo, but I can also see those personalities clashing pretty hard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Imagine a red entrepreneur full of bold ideas wanting to launch a product yesterday. Their blue business partner, meanwhile, is meticulously crafting the perfect business plan, triple checking every injection.
Talk about a recipe for tension.
Oh, yeah.
The red is probably like tapping their foot impatiently, while the blue is highlighting spreadsheets with increasing fervor.
The red sees the blue as like a roadblock, while the blue sees the red as reckless.
Yeah.
But here's where the magic happens.
Okay.
If they understand each other's colors, they can actually leverage these differences.
Okay.
The red's drive fuels the venture, while the blue's precision ensures it's built on a solid foundation.
Oh, that's so interesting. I'm starting to see how this could be really powerful. It's not about forcing everyone to be the same. It's about orchestrating these different strengths. Okay, what about when you throw like a yellow into this red-blue mix?
Things get a lot more lively.
Okay.
that yellow energy can be the spark that ignites both the red's action and the blue's meticulous planning.
Okay.
They're the ones building relationships, spreading enthusiasm, maybe even reminding everyone to have some fun along the way.
I love that. It's like they bring the human element to balance out the red and blue's more task-focused approach. But wouldn't that yellow energy also risk kind of throwing the carefully crafted plans off?
It could if it's not managed well.
Right.
That's why self-awareness is so crucial. A yellow who understands their tendency to get swept up in the moment can learn to channel that energy strategically, using it to motivate the team without derailing the blue's carefully laid plans.
This is really making me think about like teams I've been on and like clashes we've had, but also the successes. And I'm realizing some of those conflicts might have stemmed from just not understanding these colors.
That's a really common realization. We often attribute conflict to just like personality clashes when it's really about these different communication styles and values.
Yeah, and that's where Erikson's framework is so powerful. It gives us a language to decode those differences and adapt.
It's about adaptation.
Yeah, okay, let's talk about those adaptations. We've covered the individual colors,
but
I want to get practical. What are some concrete tips for like navigating interactions with, say, a red boss who's breathing down my neck?
Okay, so first remember, reds are all about efficiency.
Okay.
So skip the small talk, cut to the chase, and present your information clearly and concisely.
Gotcha.
Don't beat around the bush.
Okay.
They're going to respect your...
No long meandering stories, no emotional pleas.
Right.
Just the facts.
Exactly.
Okay, but what if you have to disagree with them? Reds don't exactly strike me as the most receptive audience.
You're right. Reds can be quite strong-willed.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. They respect conviction.
Okay.
So don't be afraid to express your opinion, but back it up with logic and facts.
Okay.
Avoid getting emotional or personal.
Right.
Think of it as like presenting a case in court.
Gotcha.
Not pleading your case to a jury.
So firm but respectful, even when my heart's racing from that red intensity.
Right.
What about when you need something from a red? They always seem so busy, like conquering the next goal.
Right. The key is to align your request with their priorities.
Okay.
Show them how your request benefits them or helps them achieve their goals.
Okay.
And be prepared to act quickly.
Gotcha.
Reds hate delays and indecision.
Be concise. Be logical. Be ready to roll.
Exactly.
Okay, let's switch gears to yellows. How do we navigate those conversations that seem to go in a million directions at once?
So with yellows, it's all about building that connection first.
Okay.
Show genuine interest in them. Ask questions and let them share their ideas. Don't try to control the conversation or steer it too rigidly.
So embrace the tangents.
Right.
But how do you get your point across when they're so busy like flitting from one thought to the truth?
Yeah, patience is key.
Yeah.
You might need to repeat yourself or rephrase your message in different ways to ensure that it sticks. And don't be afraid to gently guide the conversation back on track if it veers too far off course.
Okay, so it's like trying to herd butterflies.
Exactly.
You need a light touch and a sense of humor.
A little bit.
What about giving feedback to a yellows? They seem like they might be a bit sensitive too.
Yeah, yellows thrive on positive reinforcement.
Criticism.
So when you're delivering feedback, start by acknowledging their strengths and contributions. Then gently introduce areas for improvement, framing them as opportunities for growth rather than...
So the classic compliment sandwich approach.
Right, exactly.
What about greens? They seem like they'd be so easy to get along with, but I'm wondering if their aversion to conflict could be a...
Yeah, absolutely. With greens, creating a safe and non-judgmental space is crucial.
Okay.
Let them know that you value their opinions and that you're not going to punish them for disagreeing.
So it's about building trust and making them feel comfortable expressing themselves honestly.
And when there is a disagreement, approach it calmly and collaboratively.
Okay.
Avoid raising your voice or getting confrontational. Focus on finding a solution that works for everyone.
So it's like diplomacy.
Right.
You're finding common ground and building consensus.
Yeah.
What about when you need a green to make a decision? They seem like they might take their sweet time weighing all the options.
Yeah, patience is key here too.
Okay.
Don't rush them or pressure them into making a quick choice. Instead, Provide them with all the information they need.
Okay.
Answer their questions thoughtfully, and give them the time and space to process everything.
No hard sells with a green.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay, last but not least, let's talk about blues. What are the keys to communicating effectively with those detail-oriented, logic-driven?
Okay, so with blues,
yeah,
preparation is key.
Okay.
Come armed with data, facts, and logical arguments. Avoid vague statements or emotional appeals.
Right.
They need to see the evidence.
Gotcha.
Before they'll buy into anything.
So it's like presenting a research paper, not a motivational speech.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but what if you have to deliver negative feedback to a blue? They seem like they might take it pretty...
You're right. Blues can be quite self-critical.
Hard.
So when you're delivering feedback, be specific and objective.
Okay.
Avoid personal judgments or emotional language. Focus on the behavior or the outcome, not the person.
Okay.
And be prepared for questions.
Right.
Blues love to analyze and understand things.
Thoroughly. Okay, so I'm picturing myself walking into a blues office with a meticulously crafted presentation, bullet points, aligned sources cited.
Exactly.
And a calm demeanor, ready to field any and all questions. This is starting to feel like a strategic game.
That's a great way to think about it.
It is.
You know, understanding these color dynamics is like having a cheat sheet for navigating human interaction.
Totally. And it's not just about getting what you want from people. It's about like building understanding and respect.
Exactly.
For all the different ways that people...
It's about appreciating the value
approach the world
of each color.
Yeah.
And recognizing how those differences can lead to greater collaboration and success.
My brain is like buzzing with all these color combinations and potential clashes and stuff.
Yeah.
You mentioned that even seemingly compatible colors like yellow and green can have their challenges.
Yeah.
Can we unpack that a bit?
Absolutely. Picture a yellow parent excitedly planning a family vacation. Yeah. You know, theme parks, ziplining all the bells and whistles.
Okay.
Meanwhile, their green partner is envisioning a quiet cabin in the woods, board games, lots of nature walks.
Absolutely. Talk about a vacation showdown.
Right.
The yellow's probably already booked like the helicopter tour.
Exactly.
While the green is researching the best bird watching spots.
Yeah. The yellow might see the green as a killjoy.
Yeah.
While the green might see the yellow as overwhelming and inconsiderate of their need for peace.
So how do they even begin to plan a trip together without like driving each other bananas?
Right. This is where understanding each other's needs becomes crucial.
Okay.
The yellow could learn to appreciate the value of downtime and incorporate some calmer activities into the itinerary.
Right.
While the green could try to embrace some spontaneity and step outside their comfort zone.
So it's about compromise and recognizing that like a fulfilling experience can encompass both, you know, high energy and peaceful moments.
Respecting each other's preferences without judgment.
Yeah.
You know, the yellow isn't wrong for wanting excitement, just as the green isn't wrong for wanting.
It's not about changing who you are. It's about kind of adjusting your approach based on the other person's color.
And it's not limited to specific pairings either.
Okay.
Think about like a workplace with a red manager leading a team of greens and blues.
Ooh, that sounds like a potential powder keg.
Yeah.
The red's barking orders.
Right.
The greens are wilting under the pressure. And the blues are lost in a sea of data analysis paralysis.
They could definitely go that way without some color awareness.
Yeah.
The key for that red manager is to understand that their direct action-oriented style might be overwhelming to their green and blue team members.
Right.
They need to learn to temper their approach.
Okay.
Provide clear explanations, offer support,
and
allow time for processing and analysis.
So it's almost like the red manager needs to become a bit multilingual.
That's a great analogy.
Speaking green and blue in addition to their native red.
It highlights why self-awareness is so crucial.
Right.
If you're a red leading a team of greens and blues, you need to be conscious of how your natural style might be perceived and adjust accordingly.
This is really making me rethink my own communication patterns. I'm realizing that some of my past conflicts might have stemmed from not understanding these color dynamics.
That's a really common realization.
Is it?
You know, we often personalize these clashes, thinking this person is difficult or just don't get along.
Right.
But often it's really just about speaking different languages.
I'm starting to see surrounded by idiots less as a book about like labeling people and more as a guide to understanding and bridging those communication gaps.
Exactly. It's about moving beyond those idiot moments and recognizing that we all have different ways of processing information, making decisions, and interacting with the world.
This has been so eye-opening. I feel like I have like a whole new toolbox for navigating relationships at work and in my personal life.
Yeah.
But I'm also realizing that applying these insights takes like real effort and self-awareness.
It's not a magic formula.
No.
It's about ongoing observation, reflection, and a willingness to adjust your approach.
And it's about recognizing the value of each color, right? The world needs the red's drive, the yellow's enthusiasm, the green's empathy, and the blue's precision.
It's the interplay of those colors that makes life so rich and interesting.
Well said.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we've covered a lot of ground today. I'm excited to start applying these insights to my own life. Any final words of wisdom for our listeners as they embark on their own color-coded journeys?
Embrace the diversity. See those idiot moments as opportunities for growth and understanding. And remember, we're all a mix of colors, constantly evolving and learning.
Beautifully said. Thanks for guiding us through this fascinating deep dive.
Yeah.
And to all our listeners, thanks for joining us. We hope you've gained some valuable tools for decoding human behavior and building like stronger, more meaningful relationships. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep embracing the wonderful diversity of the human experience.